Okay, so right here I have a lineup from Demon Souls all the way down to Bloodborne with Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3 in the middle. And it's been a while since I've seen the launch trailers, so I went ahead and loaded them up, and I'm going to check them out right now. I also want to mention that these are going to be the newest iterations of each game. So right there you saw that it was Blue Point for the Demon Souls remake. So for Dark Souls 1 and 2, it's going to be the remastered version and Scholar of the First Sin, because I felt like these newer iterations show the video games in the best light. What I really liked about this trailer, I'll rewind it a little bit, is that it shows off a lot of different areas that, if you're familiar with the game, will seem nostalgic and really hyped for. And at the same time, if you're not too familiar with the game, it shows off a wide variety of areas to kind of show that this game is not just like one aesthetic style, that it has a lot of things going for it. It sets a lot of mystery with the Maiden in Black and your main character falling down the well. And again, if you're familiar with the story, you know where that's leading. But at the same time, if you're unfamiliar, it sets that intrigue. So when you rewatch the trailer, you're like, oh, okay, they showed me all of these hints in the trailer. And it's really nice to like look back and just kind of explore. And right here we have the Dark Souls remastered version. Again, because I want to show these games in their best light.
Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in
Now, I don't know if this was intentional. I take film, so they say that everything is intentional. As soon as she says dark sign, you can tell, or you can see that there's a dark sign on this undead right here. So again, it's like one of those little details that is kind of nice to see is consistent in their trailers, because you know that it's in their video games when it comes to their storytelling. They really like to pay the small little details special attention for those that are really looking out for it.
And led to the north, where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Well, what do we have here? You must be a new arrival.
Another thing that was interesting to point out is the armor. It's a consistent thing for From Software to show off these iconic armor sets that become highly desired and sought after. And I just think it's pretty cool that it's always a different piece of armor, but it's special and it's iconic. And I mean, if you just look at it, it's badass. All of them are really, really badass. With the exception of the PS3 version Knight set. I didn't really like the helmet. The rest of the armor looks fine, but the helmet always kind of threw me off on the PS3 version. PS5, it looks good.
Don't even consider visiting Anor Londo. Not in your state.
Again, they're showing the grand structure of everything, and I like that, like old school horror film, like film grain. It gives me that silent film aesthetic.
Clinging to his age of fire and in dire fear of humans, and the Dark Lord who would one day be born amongst them. Lord Gwyn resisted.
Oh, I didn't even realize that they were going to show Artorias. I guess it makes sense because, if I'm remembering right, the Dark Souls remastered version comes with the DLC already pre-installed, so it does make sense that they would include Artorias.
So that you may link the fire, cast away the dark, and undo the curse of the undead. And may the age of fire perpetuate.
Sif is always looking badass. Sif was probably hands down like my favorite boss fight. A lot of people like switched it up and went with Artorias after the DLC launched, but I don't know, Sif has always just been like an iconic classic for me, and I'm sure for everybody as well. And so right here we have Scholar of the First Sin. And again, I'm excited that the Dark Souls remastered versions showed something different. Extra, I guess I should say. It seems like Dark Souls 2 is showing off DLC as well. That was another one of my favorite boss fights. And you know, I say it's my favorite, and I don't remember it, but let's see if I can. That one right there, the Eastern Knight. I honestly I forgot, but yeah, I just really like the armor sets. Even the one that he got right here is really cool. And the Dark Souls 2, it was the Farron Knight set, but I think they switched it up. And this was a really cool Knight set as well. And the boss, everything about him is awesome. The room, the boss room, and everything. It was pretty dope. I didn't like that snow area. That was just kind of, it was just a tough one. That boss fight was a tough one for me. That was a cool little thing too. Like knocking off that horse, the chariot. And it looks like they kind of opted out of having an announcer. They're just doing like these titles, these like text titles. I don't really know what to call them. But all in all, it's a really solid trailer. It shows a lot of gameplay, and if you watch my Elden Ring video, which I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you right now, it's not Elden Ring. In that video, I mentioned that gameplay is a preference of mine if a studio is gonna show off a video game trailer, and that one pretty much showed mostly gameplay. If not, it showed cinematic that is in engine, so it is something that you can expect, and it looks exactly how it does in the game as it did in that trailer. So I'm gonna go ahead and check out Dark Souls 3, and it looks like we're almost done. After that one, it's Bloodborne. So yeah, I'm kind of excited. That's that same title that fooled me from the Elden Ring trailer, the fake Elden Ring trailer. As much as I love Dark Souls 2, I do have to give it up for Dark Souls 3. It does look closer to the original Dark Souls than Scholar of the First Sin had, but Scholar of the First Sin was always a really good game. Things like that remind me of Bloodborne. When you gain your insight, you get to see these monsters that had always been there, but you didn't get to see until you reached a certain insight. And I know this is supposed to be like an angel, but I don't know. It's just like, it kind of gives me Bloodborne vibes. The common theme that I liked about this game since it is marking the Dark Souls end, is the fact that all of the bosses to some degree look very aged. Like, this is the Nameless King here, and he kind of looks almost zombified, but he's not the only one. There's this old like fire sage, and then you have the dead Capra demons right here. And I know that the story alludes to why everybody looks old and decrepit, but again, it's nice to see it in the trailer as well, because it shows a consistency when it comes to presenting a story and the themes that are present within the story. There's even one main boss here that is literally just a skeleton. You have to forgive me because I don't really know the names. It's been a long time, but I've been wanting to like freshen up on my knowledge when it comes to all of these video games, because I do genuinely love the detail and everybody's individual stories. So definitely I'm going to be looking up a lot of lore and possibly refer back to these videos, but who knows. I'm just really trying to take things one step at a time. So that wraps up the Dark Souls series. Again, I feel like there's a lot of consistency in these trailers. They show off the themes while also adding little details for people who are rewatching it like myself. And I'm sure that people who are more knowledgeable on the topic of these video games can spot even more details. So that's why I always think it's interesting to look back when you have a little bit more knowledge on something, because it shows you little things that you may not have seen in the first time around. And now we're at Bloodborne, where the approach was a little bit different, with good reason, because the video game was unlike anything. It was a From Software game, but at the time, it was not like Dark Souls at all. Even little things like that with the trick weapons really made people like pause these types of trailers because they wanted to see exactly what was going on. And I like how the trailer kind of takes liberty to separate itself from how Dark Souls presents itself. They're a little bit more cinematic. They have these graphics that are not gameplay, but they still contribute to the tone of the video game. Even the background music is music. It's not an announcer, it's not anybody trying to tell you a story, it's just showing you like the badass gameplay that it is. And it's trying to get you hyped and build some type of tension. And I like that. I like how it does separate itself, even though we do tend to group Bloodborne in with Souls video games. It's nice to know that they kind of separate it, and it shows in the trailer. So all around, it was pretty good to check them out again. If you enjoyed, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. There's been a lot of people checking out the videos, so if you've been enjoying them, that would really help me out. Turn on the notifications as well. And until next time, take care.